Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to a wonderful Wednesday webinar. Tonight we have Anuradha Vittachi and Peter Armstrong coming to talk about the mycelium map, which is a way we can link up all of our great and amazing projects for the environment and community all across the country. Anuradha and Peter were pioneers of something very early in the internet called One World and One Climate. They might tell you a little bit about, but we're here to work out how we can map our communities and projects and link them up with some of the 36 now climate emergency centres across the UK. New one open up in Walthamstow soon. If you want to get in touch or help, email cecoutreachteam@gmail.com. Over to you, Anuradha. Thank you so much for coming and respect for all your decades of work. Over.
Thank you. I started off writing a thing about, all the early stuff 30, 40 years ago, but then I decided I better stick to what we're doing now, mostly. So I'll mention One World briefly, but otherwise I'll mostly talk about the map. But I want to start really where we live. We live in a wood, and Phoenix, or any of the rest of you, if you came on a walk with us, even on a very gloomy day, you might notice that there might be a rotten log or a fallen branch, and on it, something that has been very unkindly described as looking like dog vomit. But it's actually a living entity called slime mold. I'm just going to put it on gallery. And slime mold is a creature with a very small brain, just one brain cell up from a vegetable. And because it's only able to think very, very slowly and move even more slowly, it takes hours to move even a few inches along the branch. But the next day, because it's a beautiful sunny day, we decide to take another walk, and we walk past the same rotting branch, and the slime mold is nowhere to be seen. It's not even anywhere nearby. So it looks like it's suddenly taken wing and skedaddled off, galloped off into the woods. And so how could this be? And the reality, the truth is even more amazing because it hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's still there on the branch. It's just become invisible. And it's become invisible because it has demerged. The slime mold we'd seen before wasn't a single creature, but a colony. And when the colony separates out into the millions of tiny, tiny little individual parts, each one so tiny you can't see it with the naked eye. So the question is really, why does the slime mold come together in a colony sometimes and separate out sometimes? Well, they separate when it's a great day, there's plenty of food around, but when times are hard, they come together to support each other in a sort of mutual aid provision way, like some of us did during COVID. And so they're neither individualistic nor collectivistic, but can be both. They can flip as needed interdependently. So humans, oddly enough, though, tend to do the opposite. We've organized ourselves in the reverse way to slime mold. We grow enough food, I was told just yesterday or today again, enough food to feed the world's people several times over, but we've organized society backwards so that the people who have more than enough food have access to the excess food, and the people who have far too little have access to less and less. So what's wrong with us? I'm not sure humans are in a position to call slime mold stupid. What if we operated more like slime mold or like hyphae? Hyphae are the tiny filaments that make up the fungal mycelia underground, and they communicate with each other all the time, telling each other where the good nutrients are, where the threats are, sharing their knowledge in order to help the whole mycelial network survive. And that's the basis too of the mycelium map. Each of the groups in the map is like a hypha, a little filament, or a little bit of slime mold, if you don't mind me calling you that. And together you make up the mycelium, sharing our knowledge to help us all survive. And it's really important to say that the mycelium map is a mycelium with a map rather than a map with a mycelium. It's really about people and communities helping each other, not about tech, because the map platform is beautiful tech, brilliant tech, but still only tech, providing a supportive stage, a platform to all the people in the mycelium to dance on. And what you do, your dances, your words, that's what's important. And survival is now the issue for us as the important thing to talk about. For 4 billion human beings, as well as billions of other animals and plants, of course. 20 odd years ago, I tried to warn the world that we would be dooming 4 billion people to horrible deaths if we didn't take stock and face what's happening and take action together. And even the One World team at the time didn't really believe me, most of them. And certainly people in positions of power, when I gave talks at conferences all over the world, they just laughed, basically. They simply could not believe that climate change was so important and that it would start off a polycrisis and that we would be dooming so many billions of people to death.
Anuradha, do you want to briefly just explain what One World is? Because for those who
Right.
know,
I'm just about to, yeah.
cool,
So
cool.
One World, we created 30 odd years ago, was a global platform. Um, it was intended to hear the voices of people, not just in the UK, like the Mycelium map, but all over the global South, the majority world, especially in Asia and Africa. And because almost none of them had access to the internet, we created a network of NGOs who were intermediaries then with, from the people, they would speak up. And I mean, 30 years ago, most NGOs, even in the UK, didn't even know what a website was, which sounds kind of weird now, but they literally didn't know what a website was. But they just liked us and trusted us and said, okay, you make us one of these things, whatever they are. And so we made websites for UNICEF, for Amnesty, for ActionAid, for Save the Children, uh, all these major, including the Department for International Development.
Mm.
That website was made by our young assistant, who was a girl who'd left school at 16 from the village near us. And we literally made hundreds and hundreds of websites for NGOs all over the world. And they made a up a network. At one point, after a few years, we started to count how many NGOs, and we got to 3,500 partner networks, and then we stopped
Wow.
because we're getting a little bored and had to get back to work. And that didn't even include all the ones in America, which was the biggest One World Center there was, and we devolved the whole thing. You didn't really want it to be top down ever, so we devolved the whole network into um, autonomous groups around the whole world, and they had their own trustees, their own fundraising, their own plans, everything. It was just very, very lightly governed by by trustees who they selected from the different networks and came together. And I was the director of that international foundation that looked after the trustees, but it was all very much power to the periphery, not power in the center. And that's the same feeling we have about the mycelium map, that really the power should lie with all the groups. And we're just there to make the platform and very often adjusting the platform according to great ideas that you all have. Many of the things in the platform now are really because of things you said, hey, we can't do this unless could you help us do that, and so on. So um, and the important thing also was that when we made a website, say for Oxfam, we we never changed a word on it. We just made it for them as an empty cup, if you like, and they poured in whatever content they wanted. Everything was completely in their hands, they had all the rights. The only thing was that in order to make their words even more compelling to readers, And at one point we counted, we had something like 250 million. It's from people around the world. We would, you know, put different NGOs' content together side by side, but always making it clear who the content belonged to. So one time there was a terrible crisis in Africa when 1 million refugees were thought to have left one country and disappeared somewhere. None of the Western media knew where they were for quite some time, and but we had two NGO partners who were on the ground, and one was able to get out a little bit of information about what was happening with these refugees, and one was able to get out a photograph. So we put the two together on One World's front page, made a very striking front page. We just had it absolutely plain, cleared everything else off the page, just this photograph and just this text, and a link to donations so that people who saw this and were moved could send money to help these refugees. And that was a way in which, by putting two lots of stuff together from two different organizations, but not changing anything, we could bring more focus to them, more attention to them. But the idea of collaboration like this was on digital sites like this was completely alien still, because everybody was just beginning to know what a website was and wanting their own one in a competitive kind of way. And so it's hard to believe, but the NGO who had supplied the photograph actually wanted it taken off. And when I said, why, this is what will draw people to see the plight of what's happening at the moment with the refugees, they said, oh, no, we don't want that. Could you please take it off? Because otherwise the donations might go to the other NGO. I was really shocked. I'm shocked to this day because, I said, but the donations still go to the same refugees, the same people. I said, I know, but, we want you not to divert it because of our photo. It might divert to the other NGO. So, but I hope that that's not the spirit in the mycelium map. I've certainly never seen that to be the case, because the whole point is that if we were to support each other, to share and help each other, then of course we can have much more impact, and we really need to have that impact. So let me see, where am I now? Okay, so that's the old competitive paradigm, and I hope we're operating, all of us, I'm sure everyone here is, out of a cooperative paradigm. And our institutional egotism, which is important and exists, I hope can be not a block to the purpose of what we're all about. And we try very hard, for example, several of you mentioned the national emergency briefings and the film. We try very hard, if there is a group, for example, we know on the mycelium map, which is showing that, to support that, or if there's a group that isn't on the map yet, which is showing it, to say, come and join the map, then we can put you on, and you can say that you can put your event on the map, so you can attract more people onto to come to your screening. So we've been trying to work like that with some of the PEP people.
It's really grown across the country now. 1,300 showings have happened and 2,600 are planned. So incredible.
Yeah, there's our screenings, of course. The actual number of groups is about a quarter of that. And we did actually write to all of them a bit earlier, about 2 to 3 months ago. And several people joined the mycelium. Several of the groups around the country joined. We can't actually do that anymore because they've removed the access to getting those. But anyway, we've written to Ben again and told him again. So I hope they'll enable that again, because, a screening is a screening, it comes and goes. But where is the story going to last?
We need the long-term organizing into, local community centers and action.
Exactly,
And yeah.
exactly. And um, often after a screening, people are very struck by it. But what I've found from listening to various people who've done them is that people, maybe write to their MP or something, nothing, I mean, nothing much. And then they watch it again and again. And after about three times, people start to, something shifts. Because one, I mean, as a TV maker myself and Peter, obviously, we know that just, showing something once really, people go, oh gosh, and then they go off and go back to their own lives. You have to repeat things before people can take it in when it's something so scary or something so important. And after three or four goes, then something happens. So you need to be able to hold that. And when activities do flow out of those third or fourth meetings, then put the stories on, put the events on. They'll be there and you can share them. And the other day, I was talking to somebody locally who was going to show theirs for the second time. And I said, oh, have a look at what this other village, Long did. It's on the map, and she said, oh, yes, that's where I got the idea from. So it is happening, this kind of cross weaving that people learn from each other if it's on the map. But if it's just an individual screening and it's come and gone, how are people elsewhere in the country to learn the experience of what happened, And so we were trying to support that by saying, put it on the map, then people can talk about it, write about it, make videos of it, and then other people can learn from it. And that's the whole point. We have to do this basket weaving, where we learn from each other and share with each other. Anyway,
Yeah.
what was I going to say? Um, so the the biggest ally, I think, in making people wake up is the best communicator in the world, which is nature, nature itself, because nature has been conveying the urgency and the scale of the threats in a way that no human has been able to so far that I can see. And it's exercised a pretty convincing form of communication in this country by having not one or two, but five heat waves in quick succession and hundreds of wildfires and a drought that's causing havoc to the UK's food and water supplies and rain that could now engender floods because it can't penetrate the hard baked ground. And the fact that it's been speaking ferociously in the majority world for years, doesn't destroying hundreds of millions, ruining their lives of human lives and billions of animal lives, has been mostly ignored by the mainstream media in the West. And but hard as the media still tries here, it cannot completely shut out the reality of planetary heating. Even Jeremy Clarkson has had to admit now it's for
It,
real.
it does try pretty hard, doesn't it, to cover anything else but the serious, really serious issues of the climate.
And I don't think he'll ever apologize to Greta for
Mm.
calling her names, but he has had to admit it and see what's happening on his farm. And the government even has had to finally hold a Cobra meeting after, I think, the fourth heat wave in quick succession and in the throes of the fifth. Although I gather that the words fossil fuel were never treated like swear words that you don't use in polite society, and these words never passed their lips in the whole Cobra meeting. And neither did the result of the Cobra meeting come out as any kind of new cabinet post or like a Secretary of State for climate emergencies, which we could do with, couldn't we, Phoenix? Or indeed anything much.
Yep, absolutely. We need more real focus on the critical issues, and we have the solutions. We need to take it seriously and mobilize. Hopefully, if anything's
Right,
learned from the People's
right.
Emergency Briefing, is we can mobilize for the solutions. Let's get on with it.
So I think we can say move over deck chairs on the Titanic, because if we need a new metaphor for willful blindness in the face of mass extermination, we can now just murmur disposable barbecues. But nature has smacked everyone in the face so forcefully that three-quarters of UK citizens, some people say 89%, but I think the more accurate statistics are about three-quarters, now worry about climate change and feel that something should be done about it. But who will do something about it if the government is dragging its feet and business follows cash registers and the media is telling lies to protect their billionaire owners' fossil fuel assets? It seems it has to be us. And then logically follows the next question: what can I do? Because urgency without agency, as Michael Mann said, just brings despair. And this is where the mycelium map comes in, because the mycelium, all of you on the map, or all of you who I hope will join the map if you're not on it already know a lot of what we can do. Some of you know how to grow food, even in the tiniest garden or in window boxes. Some know how to harvest rainwater. Graham knows how to set up plug-in solar panels. Kirsty knows how to create community energy systems, and Loretta knows how to organize community gardens, and Kath knows where to find repair cafes, and Toby knows how to facilitate citizens' assemblies, and so on and so on. And all this knowledge and much, much more is here on the map already, easily accessible and useful to everyone. And sometimes when people first set eyes on the map, you can see the relief in their faces when they realize they're not alone and they're not helpless, not knowing where to start, because it's there. The events, the stories, the organizations tell you what they do. They are not weird wanting to do something green, which is something I noticed when we went canvassing door to door for climate vote and things like that people wouldn't take a poster to put up on their window unless you said, your neighbor down there and there have taken one. Then they were happy to take it. There's still a lot of fear of being considered woke or weird. And but the more of us come on the map, the more people can see there are thousands of people already on the map who are doing things, the more there is comfort. It's not weird. We can join in. It's become normalized. And the thousands of people already actively taking steps together on the map, also visibly having a great time doing it. Because when you see in the stories and the events, the pictures of everybody, and facing the facts and taking action together is a lot more fun than turning away and being scared on your own at home. And I love Jem Bendell, Jem Bendell was the founder of Deep Adaptation, where, he just told you absolutely, full frontally what the score was about 10 years ago. And he has now really, decided to really live life as he really wants to, no more messing with the old way of living. And he now lives on an organic farm he runs in Indonesia and is a musician. He's gone away from all his degrees and his, posh stuff he used to do. Anyway, his new T-shirt says, "Doomsters have more fun." And that is the thing. People always say, oh, don't tell people, they'll be scared, they'll be scared. No, help people behave like adults, treat them as adults, don't patronize them, face the reality squarely, and let's join up so we're not scared and shivering alone. Get together. So if you look at the map, you'll see that most of the groups on the map still, the bunch of them, are in Oxfordshire, but that's because that's where we began. We only expected to have about 60 or 70 groups in the first year because, as we said earlier, we never put people on top down. People have to hear about it and come along. And we don't have a marketing team or a campaigns team or anything. People just hear about it by word of mouth. So you all are the marketing team who go around telling each other. And each one reach one was the phrase we used to use, like the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, when they had to ripple out literacy across the country, and they only had a few teachers, they said each one teach one, and everybody taught everyone. And ripple out in the same way, each one reach one is how the mycelium map rippled out. And we expected, as I say, about 60, 65 groups in the first year. But within 10 months, we had 200 groups join in this way. And so many groups wanted to join outside this area that we said, oh, okay. And just about 3 months ago, this spring, we opened up. And since then, the numbers have more than doubled. I mean, I said to Peter last night, 465 groups. I've just put a note on the map about that. And he said, well, two more just joined. So it's 467 now. And it's growing this fast, as I say, just by word of mouth. And I urge you all, please, to pass the word on. Because the more of us are involved in living greener, fairer lives, the sooner others around us may, as Kathleen Johnson puts it, snap out of their propaganda-induced coma. And soon there should be 500 groups. And I think when we have 500 groups, we should have a party. Don't you? Will you all come, please? Phoenix, will you come?
Always up for a
come?
party. I think parties bring people together out of the Zoom box, and we can all see each other face to face and get organized. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we can come to Hedgerley, come in the woods, see if there's any slime mold about, and have a party. And if we can't do that, we can have a hybrid party with people coming who can't come this far, perhaps, come online and outside. And we've got a wonderful screen at the One Climate Centre where we can have you all come on, really good quality sound and vision, where anybody who can't make it in person can come. And if we facilitate it well, nobody will feel the difference between being there and being on the screen. So anyway, I'm just going to pass on to Peter now to show you the map, because there's a few who haven't seen the map, may like to actually catch a glimpse of this thing I've been wittering on about.
Thanks very much, Anuradha. Okay, well, I think as you've just said, I don't seem to be arriving. Can you hear me, somebody?
Yes, we can hear you. No echo,
good.
all good. I can spotlight you if need. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, there, I'm on now. Good. So some of you, I guess, do know about the map. Others, it may be new to you. So let me try and give a simple overview and then talk about some of the new features which people have been suggesting and which we're going to be putting on very, very shortly. So let me try and share screen.
Just while you're doing that, someone's asking for the specific link to join the mycelium map. Anuradha, you might be able to post that.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Sorry, it says you've disabled my screen sharing. So somebody could give me a co-host again, please.
Okay, one sec. Let's just make you co-host again. Might have to find. Sorry, one sec. You're at the top. Let's have a look. Peter Armstrong. Yeah, we should have been already, but make co-host again. Confirmed. Yep. I put coat on. I've had to come outdoors to find some internet. Internet's gone down where I am. Gone to a neighbour's. So it's about mutual aid and support. Okay, Peter, you got
yes,
co-host?
No, it's
I've put
yep, we can see your screen coming. Right.
And I've put mymap.eco in the chat.
Thank you, Anuradha.
it says your browser preventing access to your screen share. Why on earth is that? I'm sorry about this.
Okay. You're still a co-host. Try sharing again. Just remove the spotlight for a second. There you are. I've removed the spotlight. We can see your screen. Might be easier.
Oh, can you see the map?
Yeah, we can. Oh, hold on. Your
No,
screen
disappeared.
Disappeared.
Yes.
No.
Can you see
people?
Seeing the people.
Gonna spotlight you again, but we're seeing you, not the map yet.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I'll stop the share and try again.
Yeah, stop the share, try again. You can get there. Anuradha co-host, we could try back up. I made both you co-hosts before and it's now hopping them out, strangely. Okay. You're a co-host as well, Anuradha.
Yeah, I don't have his
Just
screen though.
okay.
What he wants to show you. So.
Okay, it's coming. It says
Great.
it started and then it
Okay.
flipped to you. There's something is being
So I can't deter. It won't let me decide what. I'll try a different thing. I'll try and
remove
share the
spotlight.
whole. I'll try and share the whole window, the whole screen.
Just going to remove spotlight, see if that affects anything. Strange. Any tips from the assembled wisdom of the Zoomerati? You are already a co-host and you're trying. What are the words? Yes, it's come up black and then it's posted a picture of me again.
How about
yeah,
that?
we got it. Yay! Hallelujah.
Very good.
Jubbly. Very good.
Okay, right. So to go back to the beginning, when Anuradha came up with the idea of a mycelium map, she said it must be simple, whether it's on a desktop like this or whether it's on your mobile phone, even in a vertical manner, it must be simple to use.
Can you maximize it, Peter? Just make the actual screen big with the green button up the top right, possibly, so that we can see all of the. Yep, that's better. Keep going.
So therefore, when you come to it, it's just this single screen throughout. It's a bit more like an app. We're not going to go away from the screen. Everything's going to appear here in a very simple way with no complicated links. And another of our members, Maureen, suggested, well, when you arrive, you won't know what to do. So instead of asking people to search for things, why not give a nice scrolling list here of what's new? So if we come down and look what's new at the moment, these are events that are coming up this week. Here, okay, here's a nice event for walks, for Be Wild. You've got all the information there. It's a family day, what you need to bring, 2 different times, what it costs, and how you book. So very straightforward and very helpful. So we go on down, more events happening tomorrow. And here's a story. Anuradha was talking a lot about stories. This is a very topical one that's just happened and just been posted about how to build community resilience in Oxfordshire. So you've got the details there. You've got what we call a shareable link. So anything on the map, you've got a link to it. So you can just put this on your email or pass it around to people and you'll come straight here. Then there's a
poster. If you have a poster you want to send out, you can put the shareable link on, and then people who walk past the poster can just straight there. Yeah.
So then you've got a video. So all the everything that was said at the meeting with the slide decks and the presentations are all there on the video. And a very important feature for us with the stories that we encourage people to put on is what was the impact and outcome, first of all. So here in the case of this recent meeting, one of the outcomes was the creation of an ongoing community of practice. So that seems really important to know about. And then what were the lessons learned that you can pass on to other groups who are doing similar things? So here they found that bringing together people from different sectors was crucial. And building resilience is an ongoing process. Creating networks for continued learning and support is just as important as delivering one-off events. So that's an important way that a story can really be what Anuradha calls basket sharing. And of course, on the map, or as I clicked on it, up on the map came exactly where that took place. So then if we look on down what's new, I see tonight's webinar I see is also happening at the moment. People want to find it here. And I'll go on. And then we come to some of the groups that have just joined. So Future for Water and Greenpeace, I'll just click on them.
They just joined today, those two, yeah.
They just joined today. So again, it brings us to them on a map and it gives them whatever they want to put on. This is what we call a map site. It's like a very simple website, which is free, very easy to create. It takes about 10 minutes. And then you can update it the whole time. So it's live. It isn't just going to be plonked on a map and then be out of date immediately. The people who put it on can come in there, put on their events, put on their stories, update their information and all the rest. And let me give one other example. Here's another recent story, the Mill Lane Community Garden. So here again is a wonderful story, lots of pictures which you can click on with the before and after situation with this community garden, the history of it, then what was their impact and outcome, and what were their lessons learned that we can share. And, you know, it says, open the garden as much as possible for all to enjoy, enlist volunteers and so on. And let's just show you how the video works. So the video
You
plays.
can also use it for putting up because it's so flexible and it's so easy to edit. It's not like a website where you have to either know HTML or do anything complicated. You can put your newsletter on each time and, you know, it'll reach all these people. And or you can write a blog. You can do anything and take it on and off, you know, really easily.
Hang on, Anuradha, we're just showing this video at the moment.
Okay.
So basically the video plays, as you see there, inside the map. We haven't had to go away to the map to see it. Anyone can just view it there, and it's easy for the group to put it on. So that's pretty much where we've been going for the last year, particularly this year. And now we're going to look at a couple of new things. So if I take this off and we go to the search, this is where we search anything. We set the distance that we're interested in. From the map will always center where you are. So this is where I am. Where you are will be different. And you can set how many miles around you want to be searching. So I've got it there. And you can search by any topic and all kinds of different ways to find what you want to find. But from this weekend, there's going to be a new feature. I can show you now, but you won't see it until the weekend. And this is for networks. We can now click here. And this will show us networks. And here's a very brilliant one, the Climate Emergency Network. Hooray! Just joined yesterday. So we're very thrilled about this. So when you have a network and you come to it and you click on it, something very different happens. You actually see, I take this down, you actually see the whole network.
Wow, in distance to where you are centered. Beautiful. So you can see the closest or nice.
Yeah, so this means that a network can have an existence on the map where it completely keeps its own identity. So all its description is here, what the network's about, what the center does, the film which introduces the concept, that's all there, and it's all kept up to date by the team. And then all these nodes can be live. Some of them won't be because they haven't yet joined as individuals, but others will be. So that this remains a live network that, as well as being, you can embed this back onto your own website if you haven't already got a map, or if you have got a map, this is another way of showcasing your network in a very friendly group with a lot of very like-minded people around who are looking for just this kind of thing. And as I say, all these will in time become live. So if we look at one here, for example, let's look at this, seems to be Eastbourne. We click on that, then it comes up with all the information here. This is their map site. They're in charge of it. They put on whatever they want to put on. So that's the new feature coming to your screens later this week. And the second one is a bit further off, probably a month or two further off. And this also was an idea given by one of our members that we're very excited to be following up and develop. And we're very open to your suggestions for how we might do this. So in order to show you this, as I say, it doesn't exist yet, but I can show you as kind of part of the idea of it. If I go here, need to take off the hubs, not interested in Fungal being a hub. So let's go to this map site of One Climate. And the idea is, this is the normal kind of thing. You've got the link that you can go to anywhere. You've got the friends we have. You've got the topics that we cover. You've got the website. You've got the address. You've got the WhatsApp group to join. You've got our past events, our past stories, and all our links and so on. But what I want to show you now is the new thing. Any group from when this goes live, I hope, as I say, in about a month or so, can put on two things. what they're needing at the moment and what they're offering at the moment to the mycelium. And you
Nice.
can
I
put
like
this
that.
on, you can put this on just in your own words. It's all free text. So just describe, okay, well, we're looking for for new volunteers for this work. We're also looking at some practical advice to develop a piece of ground for permaculture and veg growing. Can anybody help with that? We may need some tools, some gardening tools. Anybody got anything spare? And because it's an exchange, it's all free sharing, we put on what we can offer. So we can offer space in our cinema and meeting room for hybrid events up to 40 people, or we can offer training in storytelling and simple video production using a mobile phone. And so the idea of the exchange will be that's all I have to do as a person in this group. I just keep it up to date with the things that we can offer and the things that we need. And the more other groups do that, then once a week, the software will do the magic matching. It'll look at this and say, okay, well, that's what they need. I think there's 2 other groups that are offering pretty much which would meet that need very well. So let's put them in touch. So essentially, once a week, you might get an email say, okay, you were offering this. There's a couple of groups now who think they would really benefit from that. And if you'd like to be in touch with them, it's over to you. That wouldn't happen on the map. You would then you would then get in touch with each other. So that's the latest of our new ideas. Again, thanks to one of our members for suggesting it.
2 of our members.
Or even 2. And we've got more in the pipeline, which we can talk about in the Q&A. But basically, that's what we're up to. More ideas coming in the future. But now, back to Anuradha.
Okay, we're on 10-2, guys. So just
Yeah.
on Anuradha, and then maybe
I
we'll get some Q&A in. We can go to
Yeah, I
5
just
past or so if
want
you need.
to finish off very quickly by saying the sooner we're honest about what we're doing and we feel connected to what many of us have been missing in our lives, feeling connected to doing something really meaningful, connected to the natural world, to other people, and even to those parts of ourselves which we may have hidden. As I said with Jim Bentel, he suddenly, is finally giving up and becoming a musician and a farmer rather than an academic. And making all those changes inside ourselves and outside ourselves in the company of kindred spirits, which is very different from trying to make these huge changes in the coldness of aloneness, And I wanted to quote finally Roger Hallam again. He said just the other day, the point is you're doing great things already. What I'm saying is you have to connect. You have to start meeting together in a new social movement. And the mycelium map, as it's a people's mycelium made up by everyone, for everyone, with everyone, not made top down at all, means this social movement is here. It's begun. It's yours. So let's grow it together for the good of everyone. And that's all I had to say.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Peter and Anuradha, for the mycelium map and all your great works for the environment and community right since the very earliest One World, bringing many groups together. So, folks, if you've got a question, a comment, or feedback, there's a heart-shaped button just down the bottom. You can raise a hand like that. I think it's really important that we start to map the connections and whatever you call it. I think strategic mapping and assets is one of the words they use, but to link together. I know Barbara might be here. They're working on living map as well and things. How can we find out what's in our local area? How can we link up? How can we help each other? Like the roots, the branches, the mycelium under the ground between the trees. So yeah, I think Alex had a question there. Alex Poppleton about how groups link up. Yeah, Alex, and anyone
Hi
else pop
there.
your hand up.
I was just trying to understand how it looks amazing. It just looks fantastic. Um, I'm in Milton Keynes, and there's several groups that we don't have a venue or a specific postcode. How do the locations work if it's it's a group, it's vaguely based around a city or a location, but we don't have a specific postcode? Or can you explain a little bit more about how the location works, or does it just sort of plonk us in the middle somewhere?
Shall I answer that,
Please
Anuradha?
please answer that. Yeah, because this has
Yes.
come up many times.
When you put your organization on, you can specify that it's online only, that it doesn't have a location. And what
Okay.
that means is you'll be found, people can search for you and find you and see what you're doing, but you won't actually have a pin on the map. So it's a bit of a disadvantage. If you can find a place, like a place where you generally meet, and you can use that,
Right.
that will put you visibly on the map, but you'll still be found if you're online only.
But even
Okay, but
someone's house or anything, it doesn't really matter.
as long as it's so it might help to pick somewhere where we generally meet or that. Okay,
Yeah.
great, perfect. That's a great, useful answer. Thank you so much.
Cool. I think Lisa's next there. And use the heart shape if you need to. Pop a hand up, folks. Lisa. I need to unmute Lisa.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know if you'd unmuted me. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Oh, I just love this. I registered two organisations that I run or are involved with in Colchester. And I just was putting a story on while you were going through the map. And I noticed that for one, I can only access one of the organisations. So I can't access the Colchester Leaf. It's showing on there, but I can't add stories to it. I just wondered if it had been somehow pinned to the CEC network and I couldn't get access directly to it. I don't know.
I probably
Yeah,
should
that's it.
answer this offline, Lisa,
Oh,
that's
thank
okay.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Essentially, a story can only be attached to one organization. That might be the problem. But
Yes.
I know Colchester Leaf is looking very good on the map, so it should be no problem at all. But
Okay, no, what it is that when you go into the map and you go into I don't know what the link is, but anyway, it showed previously the Grinstead growers, which is one, and then the Colchester Leaf, which is the other. But tonight it's just showing the Grinstead growers, so I can't sort of directly access Colchester Leaf to add a story. So that's what it is. But anyway, thank you. I won't take any more of your time up, and yeah.
Drop me a line and we'll certainly sort it out. Thank you.
I think that was one of the
Okay.
questions. What's the direct contact? Thank you, Lisa, and big up all the Colchester team and Adam and all the lovelies there. Is there a direct email contact for you? People are asking. Maybe put it in the chat.
Peter, I'll
Okay.
put it in.
Okay. So yeah, but put that in the chat if you can, Peter. Dinah, I think has got a hand up there. Dinah from Lewis, is it?
Hiya, yeah. I'm sorry I was late and you've probably already gone over this, but is there a section where you can kind of alert people to, say, a national campaign that we would probably all be interested in? I'm thinking of something like the PB film, or if there is some really big some big thing that everybody needs to join in, like, I don't know, not Rosebank and Jackdaw sign this petition, but is there somewhere where there's something that everybody needs to know about?
Well, one of the things we have is a banner at the top. It's a new thing where we can highlight something. And that's very new. So we haven't all got used to using it yet. But if there was something that a lot of people were keen on, if you wrote on the Mycelium map WhatsApp group, and that's a good place to chat. Anybody who hasn't joined that, please join the Mycelium map WhatsApp group. And then people say, "Oh yes, let's do this. Let's get together and do this." Then we could put it up on that banner. I'm thinking also a thing you and I talked about once, Diana, which we haven't had time to build yet, is a thing we were calling dynamic alliances, where maybe a group of people came together and did something, and then maybe after it was done, a few months later, it melted away. But that needs a lot more thinking about. And after we've done the exchange thing, with the needs and resources, we'll get on to talking about that. But the best place to discuss ideas and solutions that you all have, because I honestly don't think it's for just Peter and me or the team, it's all of you have such brilliant ideas. Pool all of them in the Mycelium Map WhatsApp group. Because as Peter said, a lot of the ideas like the shareable links, or the doom scroll, or the green scrolling as we call it, all of these came from the mycelium, not from us. So that's what I recommend, that you talk about it in the WhatsApp group.
Can I just intervene with one point? I notice as we're talking that various people are joining the map. Very grateful for that. I will need to jump in and actually confirm those, so then you'll become live straight away. So anybody who wants to do that, when you go to mymap.eco, it's just that join button at the top is what you need to do. So just to pass that on.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're just coming up. Is it maybe time for one more? If anyone wants one more question, comment, or feedback. I think it's really incredibly important that we realize what is in our different areas. And, sometimes there's groups and projects right next door to each other. I think I use the mycelium thing for climate emergency centers. I see you, Diane, there. One sec. That really, I don't know if people know this, but mycelium mushrooms spread for sometimes 3 miles underground. What you see as a little mushroom sticking up top is just a tiny little spore thing that's sent out the top, kind of thing. In every town and city, when you set up one of these centers, it surfaces hundreds of other groups and projects, an alliance of groups that can come together and be visible, so you can find all the different groups and projects. And we need to do that by mapping and by physical centres. Okay, last two questions to Diane S, and then Jill Bird, and then we'll come to Anu and Peter for summary.
I
Diane.
just wanted to add to something you just said there, Phoenix. I think one of the things we'd like to do is to create very light groupings, which might also help the first questioner, where you don't have to necessarily have a very solid charity or group or center, but little tiny groups of just 2 or 3 people even who are keen on something, that to make it very, very light to manage and light to have on the map. And we'd like to start to think how we can build those as well. That might help a lot of people who just want to do something quickly with their friends and neighbors, maybe 3 or 4 of them,
Cool. Yeah. Diane and then Jill.
Brilliant. I just want to say thank you. It's so simple and so attractive, therefore, and it's just a joy, honestly. It's so simple. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, because I can't tell you how many times a week or every day I worry, is this actually useful to people? Is it? Do people really want it? Do they like it? Have we just been banging our heads on a brick wall? So every time somebody tells me they like it or they've used it, it's 3 times in 3 days, people told me they just used it. And it made my week,
All right.
Especially what you said just now, to be so light. It's not
Yeah.
just heavy duty. It's just flipping through and touching everybody we speak to on the way. Yeah. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for enthusiasm, Diane. And just to say, one of the things we learned from Trust the People, if everyone would like to, just put 3 words in or 1 sentence of what you thought about it tonight. That would give Phoenix a lot of joy, and the CEC network folks, as well as Anuradha and Peter, who work very hard. It's really good to hear back what you thought about it, even if you don't get a chance to speak. Just, pop 3 words or a sentence in. Maybe we can put that in somewhere for some funding someone might give us eventually one day. I've just put in a donate as well. If you scroll a couple back, we don't usually ask this, but we run so much on the CC network for so little for so long. If anyone wants to donate, there's a new donate page on the website. Just put it in the chat there. Over to Jill Bird for the final question. Thank you for being patient, Jill. Over to you.
I'm not patient. I'm absolutely gobsmacked at this vision. This whole project. I mean, from the start, and the fact that it's global and it's run by the people and it's non-hierarchical, and for me, this feels like a dream. I'm very impressed and very grateful for both of them to create this over so many years. On a less positive note, I thought you summed up beautifully the whole situation with the Cobra meeting and the politicians. I mean, what a contrast to what we've just been hearing. If you could wave one magic wand, I mean, I'm thinking, why can't you be Prime Minister? I would like you for Prime Minister if that would be okay. But assuming that's not possible, if
A phoenix as Prime Minister.
maybe a
Anuradha,
joint, a joint.
well, I want participatory assemblies all across the country in
Me
a
too. I'm with you. I'm with
non-hierarchical
you
way,
there.
with no one being prime minister. But
But my point is, you know, that this is so different to what we're stuck with at the
Yeah.
moment. If you could, I mean, I think citizens' assemblies would make the biggest difference. But if you had a choice, if you could just choose one thing to make the biggest difference, what would it be?
It would really be for everybody in the country who had a group to come on the map and take their power on the map and do what they're doing, whether it's local citizen assembly, whatever it is, doesn't matter, you know, with their good hearts and their good minds and their friends, do something together that matters. And for us to not solve problems anymore,
No.
except tech problems, for us to say, okay, you solve it. Because somebody asked me a question earlier this morning on WhatsApp. And I thought, oh my God, that's such an intelligent question. I don't know the answer. Then I suddenly thought, hang on, why do I have to have the answer? Why
No.
do I've spent my life rescuing everybody in sight, interfering, doubtless, pointlessly. Why did I let everybody take their own power? And that's what the mycelium map does, right? It gives power back to you. So please take your power. I can have a day off.
Very good. Well, just to add, though, of course, you know, we have a prime minister who seems to be determined to, you know, Rosebank. So, I mean, you know, the contrast with this hierarchical system,
Yeah.
if you could change that,
Yeah.
would there be one thing that you would do?
Oh my goodness. I think if all the key people, the top people wielding the most power in this country, you know, including the wretched Farage and people like that, were actually taken somewhere in the global south where the effects of their actions, the consequences were really, and they had to live there for, say, 3 weeks, not just a day, not just a sightseeing tour. They had to live there like the people and actually experience bombs falling on them, no food, no. It, it transforms people.
Yes.
Would they ever go? No.
No. But that's a very good answer, and I totally agree with you. I'm sure many people here would also agree with you. That's the thing. It's like we're so detached, we're so protected.
It's empathy. I mean, the strapline, the hidden strapline. I never said it out loud because I always thought people would laugh, you know. But inside for One World, all the 30 years of One World was empathy in action. And that's the same for the mycelium. It's empathy for people, with nature, with ourselves, because without some compassion for ourselves, we can't actually function, I think, especially at this time. We would get burned out. And so we need to have compassion for ourselves, for each other, and then for all the other creatures and beings and even the mountains and rocks and the streams, you know, everything, to feel this connectedness. But if we don't have compassion for ourselves, we would just explode with either grief or pain or guilt or whatever. And that's not right. We have to also find the joy somehow at the same time.
Thank you so much, Anuradha. That's a wisdom at the end. Compassion, if we can all walk a mile in other people's shoes, I think, as a recent festival joke went. We have to be aware that we're all interconnected with things. Thank you so much to everyone for coming tonight. Thank you very much to Anuradha and Peter for your incredible work. Let's hope that the mycelium blooms and grows across the whole country and worldwide till we're all interconnected, interlinked, and we can work on a massive solutions campaign and really get properly mobilized. So come over just to Peter and Anuradha if you want to do any quick final parting comments. Anything people can do to help or you'd like to say? Over. Peter, then Anu.
Well, I might just say thank you, really. It's, as Anuradha said, very heartwarming for us to hear that this is useful. And I say that on behalf of the person in whose memory we're running the charity, our daughter Boo, who we lost. who was a huge campaigner and continues to be a great inspiration to everything we're doing. So she gives us hope, and you give us hope too. So thank you very much indeed.
Bless. And Anu, parting last words or anything you want to share?
Well, Peter Bernays has just said it could get overwhelming, all this. It's really true. So that's another problem. Peter, I give it back to you and your friends. How do we do this without it becoming overwhelming? It's not for me to fix. It's for us all to think how we step forward. So let's keep coming together. Every 3 months, we have a Zoom. The autumn Zoom is on October the 21st. If you'd like to make a note of that and come along, where we can all talk about it. In between, of course, there's the Mycelium app WhatsApp, where we can all talk about all these problems and solve them together.
Brilliant. All right. So just to say thank you very much, Anu and Peter. Amazing. Next week we have Enfield Climate Action taking on the webinar for August the 26th. They're talking about tackling air pollution locally. Both air pollution and climate change are mainly caused by burning fossil fuels and share many of the same solutions. And they've got some top speakers there. Aurora Yakov, who runs the air pollution group in Enfield Climate Action Forum. Selena Momadou Doswell from React in Edmonton, a local air pollution group, as well as Georgina McGovern, the co-founder and program director of London Clean Air Fest and Earth Fest. And finally, Hannah Van Rossum is a schools and community project manager at the London Clean Air Initiative. So if you're concerned about clean air in your local area, tune in next week, and details will be in the email. And also check out the cooperating system, which is a way that you can check your local air, water, biodiversity, well-being indicators, and vote up participatory democracy to form working groups to work on that. I'll pop the last link in the chat, which is cooperating system. This is something we're working with to get as many groups on participatory democracy and repairing and regenerating the local environment. Let's crack on, folks. All right. Thank you very much to everyone for an hour of your precious time. See you on the next orbit.